Hi, Rory. I was listening to your podcast with Rob Moore, and I enjoyed it a lot. And I completely agree with you on many of your points about the property market and how the world of atoms has not moved on in the same way that the world of bits has. But obviously, your points on cars. I think possibly I'm one of those environmentalists that really annoys you, and I think the thing I want to say is I feel that the feeling is mutual, basically. So I thought to myself, maybe the most constructive thing to do is perhaps have a little bit of a show and tell, because I think from my perspective, you seem to be labouring under a few assumptions that are possibly there just because you haven't tried the alternative. I think that assumption number one is that it's difficult to carry luggage if you use a bike, and so I am in my 40s, but I've used a bike for my food shopping for my entire adult life. And basically, what you need to do that is you just need one of these devices called a luggage rack that you pop on the back of the bike, and then you get one of these large bags, and they clip together, and then basically you can also, if you really want to, say your family gets bigger and you have two children, you can actually buy longer versions of these racks that will take four bags, and that's pretty much that's ample for a family of shopping. Like when I go shopping, luggage capacity is not the constraint, it's the amount of money I want to spend on my weekly shop. So when people say to me, I couldn't carry all my food, you can see I'm quite a big guy. I don't not eat food. I sort of wonder how much food are these people eating, because we're spending hundreds of pounds a week on food shopping, and yet we're managing to get home. Now I will concede one point. One thing that we don't drink a lot of is fizzy drinks. So we don't bring home massive bottles of Coke. So instead of that, we tend to drink this stuff, which is concentrated, and then we just add the water when we get here. And the other thing that's a little bit difficult is sometimes you do have to be careful with bananas, they can get crushed. So typically, once I put all the other food in the bag, the bananas just go on top, and then that's all right. Avocados are also a bit of a problem, but I don't have an avocado to show you right now. So then I think another thing that you mentioned in that interview was if it rains. So we have this, it's just a different culture. It's like if you went to visit the Maasai, they would have a different way of doing things from how we operate in the West. I think, if you have a different mode of transport, you have a different technology. So the technology that I use for rain is this. It's a rain jacket. This is actually a poncho, so water sheets off. And have these lovely hoops that just hook on your handlebars. You go along, water just sheds away from your body, you stay perfectly dry. And then the other thing is my kids, because a bike is much smaller than a car, if I'm dropping my children at school, I can take them right to the classroom door on the bike, almost like they're in a pram, but they're 9 and 6. So they can get right to the school, drop them in. My children are the driest. Admittedly, I'm a bit wetter, but if you have to walk from a car to the destination, which is pretty normal, you're going to get wet or you're going to need an umbrella, some sort of system for keeping yourself dry anyway that doesn't involve a car. I think another point you expressed in that interview was that so I think firstly, people who don't use cars don't get deliveries more than people who live in houses with cars. I do all my own food shopping. I don't get it delivered. I go to the shops and buy things with a bike, and I put them on. Unless they're extremely large, then or very heavy, you can just move stuff with a bike. The Vietnamese army kept the Americans at bay for years, transporting everything on bikes, including bricks and munitions and stuff like that. You can do it. It's not that difficult. And I would actually argue that people who base their life around the car probably get things delivered more often than people who don't. So for instance, yesterday I was making some soup and this thing broke, it just knackered itself. And I think if I didn't have a bike and I wasn't used to cycling, I probably would have just gone online and ordered that thing and had it delivered to me in a van. But I thought, I want to make some falafel for dinner tonight. So I just nipped to Robert Dias and got myself a brand new one. And again, the reason I could do that was that basically I could lock up my bike right outside Robert Dias, nip in, grab it, go, carry on, go finish the other things I had to get done. I don't think I would have bought this if I had a car or if I was using a car normally, because I just don't think I would have had time to get it done in the day. And then I think, so what this kind of is leading me to is a general principle, which is, I think the reason why the world of atoms is not progressing in the same way the world of bits is because we're not taking advantage of this. We're not reducing the number of atoms that we need to use. So essentially, like a car is like a big bottle of Coke. It's massive, it's heavy. Yes, it's very sweet and it does its thing, but it also comes with this huge cost of weight. And I one of your other points is that like the car is a great mode of transport, which is either optimal or second best in lots of scenarios. But that's kind of the problem. So the problem is that what we're doing is optimizing our transport network for the efficiency of one mode, which is the car. So in every instance, we're trying to make the car as efficient as possible, rather than just saying, actually, in towns and cities, these things are just annoying. They're clogging everything up. They're causing pollution. You know, maybe in this instance, we need to be prioritizing bus travel or using a bike, because in this instance they're better. And I'm sorry, if you use a car, you're just going to have to park and switch to a bike, or park and switch to a bus, because the problem with using cars for everything is we're getting these kerfuffles of traffic where basically everybody's descending on a single point and it's all getting snarled up and people are living further away. So they're choosing a situation where we're all forced into travelling more. Now, I respect that sometimes travel isn't just a utilitarian thing, it's fun, but traffic's never fun, right? And it's people shouldn't be expected to sit in traffic. You know, we should be able to communicate with each other and say, actually, I think we can work this out a bit better. And I think, so like another instance where, say, you know, we're just not using the atoms appropriately is something like this, right? So this is something we use, which is a wide neck thermos. So the advantage of this is that you can just put some food in. So actually we're actually able to dehydrate some of our own food. So it's not quite astronaut food. It's not like a single pill, but you basically pop this in that bit of hot water, close it up, and then that would be ready in about 20 minutes. So anywhere you want to go, you can have a hot lunch with you. And again, that's incredibly efficient, right? We're boiling a tiny amount of energy and you're producing a really delicious food to have with you on the go. But I would imagine in the world of atoms, a lot of people who'd absolutely hate that, because anybody who runs a restaurant is going to find that they don't want to promote the idea. Like, you know, you're going to portray someone as a bit weird or a bit geeky if they can cook their own food and carry it with them. But in the past, that would have actually been quite a normal thing to do. And then, you know, behind me, I've got loads and loads of bricks, which we paid to build an awful lot of money, which we probably won't have paid back until I'm an old man, to pile up for a year. And then eventually we got this extension to my house. And then if I want to heat it, I have to heat the air, and then I have the heat from the air gets sucked into the brick, so I have to heat the air again. And then eventually, half an hour later, I might be warm. Alternatively, we can use something like this, which is an electric blanket, right? Again, not a very cool thing, maybe a bit geeky, maybe associated with poverty. But to your point, which I completely agree with, about how technology has got better and that's given us a massive improvement in life, I don't have to wait for the air in my house to heat up and for all these bricks to heat up. All I really have to do is just pop this guy on the chair, sit back down. Oh, maybe I wouldn't want people on my Zoom call to know it's there, and just flick it on, and then a second or two later I'm toasty and warm because I'm using a tiny amount of very high quality energy to heat the water in my body, not the entire building. And then I think another aspect, so just to bring in something that I brought in on my bike, is this. So this is something, I regularly frequent my local timber merchant, and I carry lengths like this back on my bike. The reason I can do that is that my bike moves slowly and I can stack these items vertically. So that's something that means that I'm one of the few people who actually go to the timber merchant and don't pick stuff up using a van, because I'm not a professional builder, but if I want to do a DIY project, I can get it on my bike, whereas I wouldn't really be able to get those long lengths in a car, or at least if other people can, they don't. And again, with this, we can produce something that looks a bit like this. So all you can do, you see, all I've done is put a load of ones and zeros in this, and this basically makes a big Meccano, so man-sized Meccano. And with that, you can use that and some screws and bolts to make absolutely anything you want to. And then when you're done with that object, so for instance, I'm going to build myself a tool, sort of a tool cupboard on wheels that will move, makes it easier around here. But with that sort of stuff, what you can achieve is you can achieve products that once you're done with it, you just disassemble it, immediately turn it into something else. So again, I think that fundamentally the reason why we're not seeing the progress in the world of atoms that we do see in the world of bits is that in the world of atoms, it's a lot easier for people to grab hold of you and hold you back. Whereas in the world of bits, it's harder for people to stop you making a change to your behavior and just allowing you to get on. Whereas say in the world of atoms, if somebody's already occupying a massive amount of road space with this huge box made from bent sheet metal, that makes it much harder if you say, oh, okay, well, actually, that thing you're doing with the massive box, I actually think I can do that with a couple of pipes and two wheels. That's, I can do it like that, but it's hard for me to get my kids on a contraption with just made from a few pipes and a few wheels. If somebody else is occupying the road with a huge, heavy, polluting, massive box. And so, yeah, that's it. I think fundamentally you're right about property. I think there's something called the Dymaxium house, which is a house that was invented by the guy who came up with the buckyball. And what he did was he said, wow, isn't it amazing that we can build aeroplanes? Let's use the ideas and technologies that we develop to get, things in the sky. Let's bring those down to earth and use them to make houses that don't use loads and loads of material. And we invented that. And we thought, yeah, that's a wonderful idea. And then a load of other people just went, yeah, no, you can't build that here. And essentially, in the world of atoms, that's what's happening all the time. There are loads of great ideas, but essentially the incumbents who do things in the old crap way very often just say, no, we do it this way, go away, you're not allowed to do that, or that new thing has to exist on the margins over there. We can't bring that into the middle, make that the way we do things, and actually have this boom in wealth that we're hoping to achieve. So, yeah, sorry if I went on a bit too long, but that's what that would be my response to your thoughts on cars. Anyway, bye.